Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. It's about 10 after 3, September 10th, Tuesday, about 74 degrees. So what are we up to today? My battery's all nice and charged, and my camera's fogging up. Aren't we having fun? Well, a couple of things. Been having a little trouble with an old injury, so I went to see an orthopedist yesterday, and telling him, my leg hurts, and he shoots some x-rays and tells me, I'm gonna ask for some blood tests, and then I'm gonna send you for a bone scan. But your insurance company has to approve your bone scan. Don't you love this stuff? It's like, you need this, but you got to ask your insurance company permission before you could get it, right? Talk about somebody getting involved in your medical care. Some people worry about government. I don't know. I worry about the insurance company a bit. Anyway, so the insurance company okays the bone scan, and I make a whole load of phone calls, and I guess I'm getting a bone scan tomorrow. Bone scans are interesting. They hit you with this radioactive isotope, and they instantly give you a bone scan, because I guess, depending if you absorb it quickly, that means your bones are less dense than if you absorb it slowly. Anyway, and then you go walk around in circles and I guess radiate every place around for 4 hours, and then you come back and they give you another bone scan, and then they send you packing, and I don't know, send the films to wherever they send them, and eventually you get a phone call and they tell you what the bone scan means. Also sent me for a bunch of blood tests, and he tells me, so I don't, right now, the pain is not due to infection. And I guess that's good, right? Who wants an infected leg? Though I didn't think it was an infection. And he tells me he also tested for inflammation, and I have a lot of inflammation. Well, there's a big surprise. It hurts, right? What is hurt caused by? Typically inflammation, right? So there goes my plate, and that wastes a lot of time. But anyway, I've been on furlough for a week, and I'm just kind of going through my head what I managed to accomplish. I did manage to get a flea market run in, or two, so 2 flea market runs. That's a good thing. Bought a 125 quad, that TRX 125, which is always cool. I started to put up one hoop building and had to take it down. Putting it up was kind of cool. Taking it down kind of sucks. I don't like taking things down once I put them up. Anyway, basically this morning I finished taking that down, and I got rid of everything. The only thing you'll see out back now is the ladder. Though I am eyeing that space under the deck, and I am going to have to harvest that somehow. So anyway, there's the discussion on that. What else did I do? I did 3 runs to the scrapyard and picked up, I don't know, what was it, $180, which was cool. Once again, I took down the old building and I rebuilt this one, which is good. One problem I am having, this thing is 9 by 16, though the dimensional width doesn't really matter much, because the hoop, top to bottom, right? I don't know, could you see my finger? If you go around and around, that's 16 foot. So it really doesn't matter how wide you make it, you still need a 16-foot tarp to cover the top of it. So I stopped by to see my friends at Harbor, and I stopped a few other places whilst I was floating around. And it seems that I could get a 15.2, which is what I got and what I put on there. That's a 15.2 by 19. Well, like everything else in my life with 15.2, I come up a tad short here. about 8 inches. This side is pretty decent. I just used a strip of plywood to put that down, which really isn't the greatest thing to use. It won't take long, especially going through the winter. Water will come off of this, and especially when it's wet, that plywood will stay wet and it'll completely deteriorate. And eventually it'll just let the hoops go. It'd be better to use some kind of plastic trim or something. I don't have it right here and now, so I couldn't, but a piece of plastic would be much better, and I'll probably replace that. So anyway, so if it could be like 16 or 16.2 by 19, it would have been better, but it's about 8 inches short. So I'm looking at this. The next size up was something like 20 by 24 or something like that, and that's just too long. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I might put a piece of plywood up, 10-inch piece of plywood, nail it here. Though you could see my problem, getting it to bend, so to speak, but I guess I'll fake it the best I can. So anyway, or I could just say the heck with it and leave it, but the bad thing about leaving it means this rail will always be wet. Whenever it rains, that rail will be wet and it'll channel water right into the building, and I'd rather not do that. The water, it's not like the building is watertight, but I'd rather not put the water directly into the building. So this thing is done. As of right now, from a total cost point of view, I mean, you're looking at these rails about $9 each, so 9, 18. These strips that go on the top, these 1x4s, I think they were like $5 each. So so there's another 20, and call it 20 for the two that are 20 and 20 is 40. The tarp's about 25. 40, 65, 100 for the hoops. So for under $200, you could build this thing. And this thing is about 6 foot tall, a little more than that, a little over 6 foot tall, 9 foot wide, 16 foot long, and about the 16 foot, there's an extra inch here. And on this side, there's like an extra 5 inches. Well, make that 6 or 8 inches, 7 inches. So for under $200, you could put yourself up a nice hoop building. You can even, from a plastic point of view, get a little more efficient at picking the size of your plastic. Also, you could buy the greenhouse plastic online. I see it on eBay and so forth. It's not horrible expensive. It's not cheap. It's not as cheap as these tarps, but it's not horrible expensive. And what you get if you put a greenhouse plastic on it, if you decide that you want to work out here during the winter and you get yourself a nice sunny day, I imagine it would actually become a pleasure to work in here. You close it off, ventilate it if you're going to fire up a propane heater, or maybe just put a small electric one in there with you to get it moving in the morning. And then the sun, when the sun comes in, I think it literally would be a pleasure to work in during the winter. It'd feel good to get the heat of the sun. I know on sunny days, even if it was pretty cool out, cool, 30, as long as it went above freezing, I would work in this area here, in front of this door, and it actually